Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 46th episode of Cultist Simulator, the Librarian run, playing as Ivan Vucetich, the detective. So we have been working on improving our unresolved ambiguities. I've actually decided to start moving them up towards Port Noon anecdotes, sort of relying on our continued journeys to the spider's door to make up the difference. It may or may not turn out, but the plan right now is this one I'm sort of hoping I have enough runway to be able to get a big painting done and get some glimmering off of that. If I don't, then I'm in a little bit of trouble, but we'll see how it all turns out. I'm also going to have to be careful on this one because I know I need to use a rarefied mind and or the library, and then I believe I also use my health, was it? Or glimmering? Erudition, right, and I don't use the fascination, I use the rarefied mind. So yeah, I have what I need, but I just need to be careful about the order. We have someone working on Connie Lee now. It's worth remembering, right, that Connie Lee is mystic and tenacious, so I do not expect King Crucible to do the job. But I'd rather King Crucible go and try and take out Connie rather than, I'm just trying to think what else I would send. Like, I'm not going to send one of my edge followers after them. Anyways, let's see how it all turns out. My big goal right now is to generate some kind of contentment, which is essentially most of this is going to fall on the painting. So let's see how far we can take it. Alright, this will buy their loyalty for now. My investigations turned up no leads, so I think we go straight into the painting. No reason to wait on it. There's a there's kind of like there's a possibility, had I started the painting earlier, I might have been able to hide the dread, but I don't think there's a way to make the painting last the full minute. There might be some sort of outside way that you can... Well, no. Let's just think through this. So you have got 20 seconds in order to put the item inside, and you can't have the dread on the table at the time that the event pops up. So you've already knocked off 20 seconds of the... You've already knocked off 20 seconds of the painting. Yeah, I don't see a situation where you can actually paint away a dread that doesn't come back to get you. I could be wrong. I could be not thinking of a corner case or something like that, but either way, it's not worth spending that much time thinking about. Let's do a painting of Clovette, something to remember them by, perhaps. Into the night, wisdom is a country, and these are its maps. We've also got a season of sickness coming up. We'll probably wind up with... oh man, that is a terrible time to get old and happy far off things. I'm tempted to go to the Ecdysis Club right away, but we'll see if we can... Yeah, there's not going to be a way I can get Clovette out of that. Alright, the spider door opens. Last night in the Mansis, I visited the Mallory, from whose impulses and rotations one does not emerge unchanged. There are many radiances there, from the fires and the forge and her names and her instruments, but one radiance lingers behind them all like a fading music. The last light of the sun in splendor, shed in the moments of his division, where the forge is strongest. Now that I have awoken, I see that radiance still. Every color has grown bright as new dye, but now all of them begin to bleed towards white. Okay, just taking a second here to make sure that I don't have any other options available. I think dreaming with the spider's door is the right call here. Pay for the paints. Temptation is past for now. And in order to avoid another dread, I might be willing to get into a little bit of trouble at work. It depends on what's coming up next. Alright, this is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. So in this case, I'm happy to provide the erudition. It's going to be gone in 35 seconds anyway. Now we're well and truly without the glimmering. But the hope is that we'll get some from painting. But no one could have survived that. Now and then, tenacious hunters somehow survive attacks that should have killed them, but their luck always runs out in the end, and there are other ways to destroy a hunter beside physical assault. So King Crucible's still kicking around. Let's take a minute here and betray the bomb maker, because it'll only take 10 seconds, and then we'll send King Crucible after Connie again. Again, that's the expected result. As long as we don't lose King Crucible, though, I'm happy to keep at it. Alright, my recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. So the contentment, a very welcome... that's a very welcome development, because that goes directly into Bleak Thoughts. The other thing that's nice is now, if Restlessness decays to Dread, I still have another contentment to replace it. So I think I'm just going to wait with the dream slot, and we can just go back to our normal job. Now we did get a glimmering out of that, which I'm happy about. Oh, and we did get a fascination, so we will use the fleeting reminiscence on that when the time comes. Also, we are clear of the we're clear of the staleness. So all in all, that's a good day's work. We'll wait a little while on the wait a little while on the inspector's position. Okay, the fascination makes it a bit awkward. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to let the I'm going to let this decay into Dread, and we'll use that to neutralize the fascination. But the Blaze of Radiance may become a liability. This one will buy their loyalty for now, and we send the Callagine out. Again, we're really just keeping the Callagine around to destroy evidence if the time comes. Alright, last night in the Mansus I visited the Mallory, from whose engines and avenues one does not emerge unchanged. I watched the processes of sunset, and I watched the entered the Amber Joy, and the White Joy, and the Blue Joy, and I was subjected to the enlightenments of calcination, and the Forge of Days touched me with her burnished fingers. And I rise from my bed with the utter knowledge that all nights must end. Okay, so we're going to leave the dream slot open for a bit. I also need to worry about my health, but we've got time and we've got money for that, so the fascination's a little bit more of an immediate threat just because we currently... Well, it's actually not even that bad of a threat, but... Okay, so we had the glimmering from the painting. So I was going to use the contentment before, but now we can combine these. Doors of vision swing wide, a little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. So in the worst case, and I think we may well get hit by the fascination here, I have a fleeting reminiscence to clean everything up with. And we'll actually have the fleeting reminiscence from the dread as well, so there's not as much to worry about. Minion is returned with a prisoner. Now that is a pleasant surprise. I wonder if I can convert her if she is a prisoner. Probably not. She's actually one of the few that has a timer. But Connie Lee captured, the heiress, suffragist, and adventurer. Let us be sure she dies in captivity. Prisoner's fate, freedom, death, or... so, a couple things we're going to do. First of all, we're going to take our fortune teller, and... Nuts, that's 60 seconds I just wasted. So we lose King Crucible out of that, or I lose the... I'm just trying to think of what I can paint King Crucible. I'll give it a shot, right? 60 seconds. My disciple can probably determine times and places where power will be available for our uses, but in matters of the Mansis, there's always danger. So yeah, this is not great, but I can at least preserve King Crucible through other means. Wolf Despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. Right, the constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. Rather inconvenient, though. So, I think I'm just going to do the painting. So this does generate notoriety. We don't worry about that. Now, what I may do here... So I don't need to worry about the fascination, but we'll let this decay to a fascination. We'll neutralize it with the dread. But I am going to paint King Crucible, so I don't need to worry about... Oops. About losing him. I'll paint them into our world, and perhaps they'll stay a little while longer. So the glimmering actually was required a little bit earlier than I thought. The air is curdled now. I'm home again in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. So 20 seconds before Season of Visions comes by. Ah, we've got another Season of Vision. I genuinely don't know if I'm going to get hit by that or not. I don't think it matters either way. We'll pay for healing. The medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect I'm being poisoned. Slowly, my clenched fists relax. I'll slide back into sleep, but something will remain like spiderwebs in the corner of the room. So yeah, the idea here is I actually fear the moods a little bit more, and particularly fascination, because dread it's not that hard to go to the Ecdysis Club. All I'm potentially losing there is the Callagine. Okay, so I am going to get hit by the Season of Visions. I'm actually a little worried that these fleeting reminiscences are going to be going away, or are going to be used rather than the dread, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I do want to see if I can clear out Spencer Hobson, though, so maybe instead of doing the auguries... Okay, so... down. My recent work has accrued modest fame. My paintings have reviewed well. That glimmering will come in handy for the next painting. And any staleness? Nope, we're good. And we have enough passion to do that again if we need. So I'm going to wait the 10 seconds on clearing out the shifty woman. I almost did it again. Okay, so we knew that was going to happen. So I'm going to have to make a decision about Connie sooner rather than later. Now, unfortunately, Hobson's probably just going to get picked up there, and it won't mean anything to have King Crucible there. But again, I've only got so much time with him. The sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. So, well, we can keep that there. I think we go back to the spider's door at this point. The spider's door is always thirsty, always. The blood I've given leaks and threads and spills the skin of the world, and the door drinks it, and a moment's satisfaction swells its opening until I can pass. I've increased my knowledge of the secret histories behind the one we know. Alright. So, I'm going to lose the erudition, unfortunately, but I think we should strike while the iron is hot and use this glimmering while it's available. So we'll double up a couple more unresolved ambiguities. And this is our first Vagabond's map. The Vagabond is the 1 hour who can never enter the Mantis, but she goes everywhere else. And, if you believe her boast, she's the only one who knows all the histories. Sometimes she lets someone record her travels. Okay, so it was a fleeting reminiscence that got picked up. We've got a Season of Visions coming up next, so we don't need to worry about the Dread for now, and King Crucible is wondering where his prey went. Well, fortunately, Hobson is pretty quick. There is a good argument here to do another painting. I'm going to resist the temptation for now. Okay, so there's also a nice little bit of timing I get to do here. So we are going to betray the fortune teller right away. Now I got to be careful about this because King Crucible's not going to last that much longer. But 10 seconds isn't a lot to give up. And then Hobson should be back in the 60 seconds it takes. Alright, I've locked this one away safely. When their screaming and raving subsides, I will subdue them properly. So again, more notoriety. This is just the cost of doing business at this point. And we've got a spare glimmering, which is rather nice. Also very welcome. Last night in the Mantis I visited the Mallory, from whose hammers and crucibles one does not emerge unchanged, and for 9 beats my heart ceased while it entered the fires of the forge, and the passions of the forge entered into it. I woke with the dawn, and its poor divided colors inspire memories of the forge's passion for the sun, of the vagabond's curse, of the Grail's deep longing. So many half-memories. So we can use this to make, right now I've got enough for 3 Vagabonds maps. What I need are 6. But we're getting closer. If a hunter's found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. We're doing rather well in terms of getting hires. I think it's just because I keep ignoring the hires that I feel like I don't get as many. But this is definitely a bit of a lesson here. Okay, I would have loved to have been able to betray the hireling that I'm getting right now, but I think in this case we should provide the library. Now if I can, I want to run out the clock on the inspector's position because of the Season of Dread, just in case we do wind up succeeding with the troublemaker. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm saying if that means anything. And I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. So we send Hobson to King Crucible. And again, if it works, great. If it doesn't, we've got the Callagine to destroy the evidence. Actually, it just occurred to me, no matter how long I leave this... Oh no, it's 30 seconds. No, again, if I get the timing right, we should be able to dodge the Season of Despair if it hits us. I await word. Okay, gotta be careful on the timing when I get back from the Mansis. Spider door gapes. Last night in the Mansis I visited the Mallory from whose fires one does not emerge unchanged. The forge's light fell upon me and my heart boiled, and when I woke my blood burnt within me, so that I had to shed it in a cup before it overwhelmed me. And lo, 10 drops of it were not blood exactly, unless the blood be of the sun. Perhaps I found the cup, perhaps I found the cup and the blood is not mine. The forge seer's memory. Okay, I don't think a vital pigment. I was just thinking, is there a way that I could summon Azim? And I don't think I have a good way of doing that. I know there's the writhing call, but that's right now this is a once use or one use only item, so I'll resist the temptation for now. But I think if I get a Grail influence, I should be a little more willing. Okay. I think we just keep going back to the spider's door. Our enemy possesses the most dangerous weapon of all, knowledge. Your summoning has fallen prey to your adversary's countermeasures. Mystic hunters know the proper precautions and will usually survive attacks from summoned minions, but sooner or later they'll make a mistake. So, in this case here, what was kind of interesting was that Connie Lee survived not from the mystic precautions, but from her health precautions. So if anything, Spencer Hobson should have actually been the easier one to defeat, but that's neither here nor there. I want to see how this recruitment works. So freedom, death, or... So fascination, dread, or restlessness. Not all endings are beautiful. This is their last day. I'll make it quick. Definitely not. I gotta think about what happens if... Well, I mean, I've got the passion to get a fascination to see how that works. This will buy their loyalty for now. Yeah, and I don't have the option to... put something like the cult in, so... Right, they want a glimmering here, so I've got one that's about to expire. Definitely hire the hireling. I want to send the Callagine to destroy the evidence when the time comes, but obviously I've got there's some timing issues. Their fate in this history is yet unwritten. So I do need to keep an eye on the timing, right? She's got 200 seconds that have already gone, well, almost 200 seconds that have already gone by, so I am actually, weirdly enough, going to try and provoke some fascination, I think. As far as the next move here, I think we try and destroy the evidence with the Callagine, so that's going to be 45 seconds where the talk verb isn't used. Normally I'd take Saliba and try to get him to bring someone in, but the Callagine's starting to run low on time, so it's kind of important I keep the destinations open. Overall, though, I'm pretty happy with how this round's turned out for us. Or I kind of try and mark, like, if there's one big event, basically, in each episode, and I kind of feel like being able to capture one of the hunters is an indicator. It would be something that counts like that. So this isn't bad. This means that we get fascination. So last night in the Mantis, I visited the Mallory, from whose impulses and rotations one does not emerge unchanged. There are many radiances there, from the fires of the forge, and her names and her instruments, but one radiance lingers behind them all like fading music. The last light of the sun in splendor shed in the moments of his division, here where the forge is strongest. Now that I have awoken, I see that radiance still. Now, I don't think I actually want to wait this long to get the fascination, so I'm going to do something rather foolish and go straight for the painting. Okay, Clovette. And we'll head straight back to the spider's door. I'll have a fleeting reminiscence to clear out any fascination if it doesn't turn out to be all that useful. Thinking of old unhappy far-off things... There's another thing I want to keep in mind, actually. I'm going to have to rehire the muscle. So, I'm going to send the Callagine out to explore again. So I had to do that because the library, or my headquarters is locked away in the study verb right now. Could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. So my luck is going to be that we wind up hiring someone again, but... If I want to hire King Crucible again, the lantern influence may actually do the trick. But magnificent work. I've created something distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. My recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. So let's see if we got the fascination. This will be like the one time I don't get fascination. Nope, there it is. Okay, good to know. So this is going to be something that I want to experiment with Connie Lee on. Unresolved ambiguity. That's a very welcome development. Okay, so there may be an argument for keeping the dream slot open to avoid some of the negative effects of all the fascination sitting around on the table. But because I don't have a firm decision for that yet, we're going to throw another hapless prisoner at the problem. And I'll wait a little bit longer. Well, no, we should be fine. I suspect the restlessness is going to be the thing that that matters the most here, but I've never actually used the new prisoner mechanics. Alright, same terms as before. Ugh, this is gross. Actually, I probably just wasted too much time with that. Anyways, I've locked it in, so not much I can do about it now. I am probably going to wind up losing the library, though. Where I can, I am trying to provoke the, old unhappy far-off things. I suppose I could use more moth people and things. Might have found somewhere unusual. Okay. Now is a time I might want to consider keeping the dream slot open, but again, we don't have a fleeting reminiscence. No, we will have a fleeting reminiscence to work with, so as tempting as it is to follow up, I'm going to stay put for now. The logic here is this is something that provokes moth, and I'm going to do a moth follower. So step 1 is going to be to betray the professional muscle and the bomb maker. Step 2 is going to be, in fact, yank the funds away. Despair prowls elsewhere, no dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. We've got a season of suspicion coming up, so that does mean there's some danger with the tentative evidence. I think I'm just going to have to eat it. Because my talk verb's going to be otherwise occupied. So, betrayal 1. All conviction, the world goes away. Betrayal 3, then we're going to try Connie with Fascination. Again, I suspect that's probably going to be a... Ooh. I will have the Librarian time, but the glimmering probably goes away. Oh, but we're doing painting, so we'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to talk with Connie again. Mercy is found only in shadow. Revelation, after all, is just another way of saying apocalypse. This strikes me as something that ends the... This strikes me as something that ends the hunter, so we're not following through with that. All right. We're going to end it here, but I'm going to need to figure out... So I think it's fair to say, unless something truly extraordinary happens, we're going to wind up with damning evidence on the table. I do want to figure out what's going on with Connie, because we don't have that much time left. And one thing that is kind of nice, the more I spam the Callagine, the more likely I am to get the restlessness. But again, we don't have Connie forever, so that's one of the reasons I'm willing to risk the tentative evidence for now. But that has its consequences, right? In any case, something for another episode. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.